What science fiction writers write about is what they see at hand. And what they do is they just think it forward just a little bit more.
Also wenn ich jetzt mal Science-Fiction-Schreiber spiele und ein bisschen in die Zukunft schaue, dann habe ich die Vision einer leeren Bierflasche.
Dun, 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 dun. It's been 18 years since the release of Demanufactured, right?
Yes.
Makes you think, right?
I'm old.
How do you feel when you listen to it nowadays?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't listen to it. When I hear it, and other people will play it, and I hear it, I was like, wow. It's like there's still nothing that sounds like that. Stands the test of time, kind of. That's the kind of record. Stands the test of time. Basically, Demanufactured became a concept album after the fact. But what Demanufactured was written out of chaos. What we were going through writing that album, we went through the Los Angeles riots, we went through the earthquake, and just everything. The world is just coming apart. Dino and I stood up on our roof in Hollywood, and we could see pretty much all of LA from our vantage point, and just like fires and helicopters, and you see the National Guard coming down the road, and it's just like, oh my gosh. And they put in martial law and a curfew, and it was just complete insanity. Demanufactured was about a time that was just complete chaos, and we were literally fighting the machine. And the machine in the punk rock metaphor of the man, the establishment. It's a very anti-establishment kind of record. With our influences from Terminator and Ministry and Blade Runner, it's like it all was just kind of combined together. And after we finished recording and mixing, we get a call from the label, and they go, well, we want to press, the press want to know what the songs are about. So I was like, okay. So I made it interesting, and so I turned it into a story instead of describing, well, this song's about, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, it's like our hero starts off with this, and it's like I turned it into a story at that point, and everyone just loved it. What I've learned over the years is, what science fiction writers write about it is what they see at hand. And what they do is they just think it forward just a little bit more. 1984, George Orwell's 1984 was actually first titled 1948. And the publisher told him, it's like, well, people aren't going to get this. You're going to have to change the title, so he just switched the numbers. When you see this, what's happening with the NSA, people knew what was happening, but they didn't know it was happening to that extent. Americans are hypocrites. I gotta say, Americans are hypocrites because they voted for this right after September 11th, 2001. They voted for this to happen. They allowed the Patriot Act to take a lot of our rights and to make the government a bigger government to watch over you. In the name of security, you lose certain inalienable rights. And privacy is going to be one of them. And the NSA just kept reaching more and reaching further and further.
I think the most frightening thing about it is that it seems kind of irreversible, right?
At this point, it is irreversible. Yeah. There's no way it's going to turn around. And whatever the government is going to do, our president wants to keep the NSA program going. And the same people, the same congressmen who voted it in while George Bush was in office are reversing their decision, and it's not going to happen because that Patriot Act is not going to go anywhere. All in the name of security because people are afraid. And that's how you drive security, is by create fear.
Falls euch dieses Interview gefallen hat, teilt es, liked es und abonniert unseren Kanal. Jeden Dienstag und Freitag gibt es neue Videos. Unsere heutige Frage: Welches ist eurer Meinung nach das beste Album von Fear Factory? Falls ihr Shirts, CDs, LPs oder Boxsets von Fear Factory haben wollt, all das gibt's natürlich bei EMP. Klickt einfach auf den Link unten in der Beschreibung. Bis zum nächsten Mal, sagen Jan und Markus.